don't want to be late again.
It's another busy day here at Elm Park. We're here to bring you a season's greetings from Reading Football Club. A chance to witness again the Royals' dramatic arrival in the First Division and a chance to meet some of the players. They conquered the Second Division. The fans celebrated. The players showed off the silverware at Elm Park. Ahead lay a summer preparing for Division 1. The groundwork began on the ground. Wear and tear had taken its toll of the playing surface. 2/3 had to be re-turfed. On July the 7th, the Reading players were back in training, with a famous new face in their midst.
Come on, Thompson!
Daley Thompson, the former Olympic champion, was training with the Royals. Even with a joker in their pack, the work was intense. The club's golf day provided an alternative sporting challenge. Another sporting star spent the day with the Royals, swapping his cue for a club and wishing he hadn't.
I saw that clicking.
Yeah. No cameras.
It was after the event.
Adrian Williams, Paul Holsgrove and Simon Osborne all signed contracts at Elm Park. And they were joined 4 days before the big kick-off by Darius Dovcek, the final piece in the jigsaw. The international defender had played for Reading in their prestige friendly against John Toshak's Real Sociedad. Stuart Lovell's goal gave Reading victory over the Spaniards. And so the final training sessions before Mark McGee led Reading to the First Division. This was the squad aiming to put Reading on the road to more success. And their first destination, Molineux. The opening day away to Wolves, the pre-season favourites for the Premiership at their own super stadium. Graham Taylor, back in club management, spent heavily in the transfer market. It was a tough test for the Royals.
When the fixtures came out, it was before pre-season training and just about the time that pre-season training starts. And to have that fixture in your mind, knowing that that's the first fixture, was a great thing for us, you know, because it really allowed us to focus on real sort of purpose, you know. Had we been away to Grimsby, we would have been kind of going into the unexpected and the unknown, you know. But knowing exactly what to expect at the Wolves in a big crowd, a big venue, the top game of the day, because there was no Premier League that day, it was a tremendous game really for us.
And Reading's performance was worthy of the match of the day.
Here's Bull, linking up well too with Ferguson. He's not with the save, but Froggatt comes in. Wolves take the lead through Stephen Froggatt. His first goal in the league for Wolves. And already it is looking a very astute purchase, the signing of Stephen Froggatt. Well, it was a splendid save by Hislop initially, but nothing he could do about Froggatt following up. Quinn by Shirtliff, and then hooked on by Thomas, who's feeling his way back to full match fitness, having been out for so long. Taylor winning his scrap there with Thompson. Budal drilling over the cross. Emblem lost it in the flight. Chance. Oh, Lovell's missed it. Oh, it was a golden opportunity then for Stuart Lovell. Again, Wolves were found wanting at the back. Emblem lost the ball, and the chance was easily set up then, and Stuart Lovell couldn't accept it. Kerr. Job check. Now then for Williams. And away to his right is Bernal. Andy Bernal. An Australian with a Spanish passport, would you believe? Lovell with a side of goal. Well, he accepted the chance this time. And was not far away then, Stuart Lovell. Here's Kelly. It's all a little untidy. Williams for Reading. The job check. He looks very cool in possession. Kerr now. Trying to shake off Kelly. Osborne. He's shown well for him. Lovell now taking over. And he's got a side of goal. Lovell with the shot. Very well struck then by Stuart Lovell. Substitution about to take place. Michael Gilks is coming on, who will certainly add some pace to their attacking play. Williams. Shirtliff's header has only gone as far as Osborne, who's shaken off the challenge. Oh, what a save! Terrific stop then by Stahl. Well, he certainly rescued his team then, Mike Stahl. Just managing to tip it wide. Osborne persevered, away from one tackle. Gilks now. Lovell for Kerr. And Gilks, who's made the run for him. Quinn in the middle. Oh, over the bar from Quinn. Well, he can't believe that he's missed it. The man who scored 40 goals last season. And he has squandered a golden opportunity. Set up there by Gilks, right into his path. All he had to do was steer it past the keeper. I know it looks easy from here, but Quinn will be the first to admit that should have been the equaliser.
Well, I thought we played terrific today, you know. I thought we, caused them a lot of problems. We had, I think, the better clear-cut chances on the day, and, obviously we didn't put them away.
The one you didn't put away, you'll remember for a long, long time, I'm sure, in the second half. What was the story?
I'm gutted about that. I mean, I could have about 20 of those and put them all away. It's just, I must have took my eye off at the last minute, and it was very disappointing because, as I said, we played pretty well, and we certainly deserved something out of the match.
Reading had been beaten by a solitary goal, but their performance won rave reviews and set a standard for the season ahead.
Although we lost the game, we felt we got the measure of Wolves, and that we felt we were a lot better than Wolves on the day, and we deserved a lot more than nothing out of the game. And in the weeks to follow, we proved that.
You could tell that over the next sort of period of 5 or 6 games that was going to put them in good stead, and there was no doubt about it that there was a hell of a determination in that change room after that to make sure we got the results we thoroughly deserved.
Now Gooding looking for Quinn.
Reading's first home game brought Portsmouth and a 9,000 crowd to Elm Park.
Pass through to Lovell. It goes Lovell again. And in the end, it was Alan Knight to the rescue. Stimpson taking the corner. In goes Dobson. Hislop didn't make it. Craney off the line. Simons off the post. Lovell. He's made a little bit of space for himself. Now here's Gilks. Roar from the Reading fans. Jones has possession. Good cross in as well. Quick with a header!
For a long spell in that game, I thought Portsmouth were better than us, and I felt that after that game that it was a measure that, you know, we had to improve. You know, we had to get a bit better if we were going to tip the scales and win games like that. We felt we knew how we could do that, and we went about trying to.
The Portsmouth match also marked a home league debut for Dariusz Dovcek. The Polish international signed from Celtic on a free transfer. Two of his traits, a cultured left foot and family man. He can turn defence into attack even on a chessboard, though his son Rafał wasn't going to be caught out easily in this battle of wits. His wife is Ivona and their daughter Alexandra. She's the family artist.
I would say the family is always first for me. The football is second. And it's easier for me to perform, you know, on the matches when everything is good around home, you know, where my kids are healthy, when everything's work well for me, around the family. So it's very important for me.
Capped by Poland more than 50 times, 10 as captain, he spent 5 years at one of Mark McGee's former clubs, Celtic. He was released from there as a free agent at the end of the 93-94 season. McGee and Colin Lee spotted him playing in a friendly at Falkirk.
I think the Celtic connection helped there. Dariusz, as much as I didn't know Dariusz knew about me from friends at Celtic, and I think, you know, thankfully they gave me a reasonably good critique, you know, so Dariusz was open to the idea. If he wanted to experience different types of football, he felt that the football in Scotland was a little bit physical, that maybe football here was going to be a little better. And when he played against Real Sociedad and saw the way we played, I think he realised that he could play in this football. So having seen the game, having played in the game, having saw the area and enjoyed our hospitality, he was persuaded to stay.
What did you know about Reading before you came down?
Nothing, nothing at all. To be honest, I never heard about Reading and as a city and the football club. But now I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because with the way the national press treat this club, because even the reports after the game, they treat this club like something which is small. Oh, they win the games, but they are they try to impress somebody, but they will collapse because they are too weak. And hopefully we'll disappoint these people to achieve something, because on the way we're playing now, I didn't see many clubs being better than us.
Well, Barnsley certainly weren't any better. The visit to Oakwell gave the Royal supporters their first glimpse of Simon Osborne's finishing ability. Aussie's first goal for Reading. Reading sealed their win in Yorkshire, breaking from their own penalty area with devastating effect. Jimmy Quinn and Stuart Lovell involved before Scott Taylor added the all-important finish. After that first goal at Oakwell, Simon Osborne had Royals fans and Reading's opponents taking note of his contribution in midfield. The 22-year-old arrived at Elm Park from Crystal Palace.
Palace did do me quite a big favour, actually. I think they saw the position I was in, with it not going particularly well at Palace, and they kind of felt a bit loyal towards me because I'd been there for sort of 6 years through a schoolboy, so I'd given a lot of my time to them. So I think they looked at that and said, right, we're letting go for sort of 90,000. And obviously, if I get sold on for more, probably Palace would get some more of that, but they sort of gave me another chance.
His goals are a bonus, really. Although you expect midfield players to score goals, you know, we didn't bring him here to score goals. We brought him here to help us build play, to let other people score goals, and that's the part of his game that we've been most pleased with. He's a playmaker. He gets everything going in the middle of the park. Tremendous ball player, tremendous striker of the ball. We're absolutely delighted with him.
Been some great goals. One in mind, I think, is well, two in mind really. One at Oldham when he went through. I think he nutmegged the central defender, and then he's done one of these Brazilian scoops over the goalkeeper, which only people can do full of confidence. That was an outstanding goal, and we played Charlton. I think he's hit a 25-yard volley, top corner.
Shot driven through, and a goal from Osborne.
I scouted last season and scouted him, for quite a long time. And Simon convinced me that he was the player really to take over from Kevin Dillon in a testimonial game I watched at Brentford at the end of last season, when the boy was absolutely outstanding. And I went back to Mark and said, I think I found the guy to maybe replace Kevin Dillon, and he's technically a very, very good player, and with a guy with that type of technique, you'd expect him to score spectacular goals.
Well, perhaps Reading's opponents would be satisfied if Osborne was restricted to taking the corners. It wasn't Ozzy, but a manager who was in turmoil the night Stoke City came to Elm Park. 2 red cards, and the Royals saw to that. Stuart Lovell had a good night, volleying in the first goal. Dylan Kerr cracked in one of the goals of the season. Michael Gilks was on hand to tuck away number 3. And Scott Taylor rounded off the night's work with number 4. The blitz left Stoke manager Joe Jordan patrolling Elm Park a sad, lonely figure. A couple of weeks later, he parted company with Stoke. But he wasn't alone in questioning his future that night. Reading's assistant manager Colin Lee had been offered the vacant manager's job at Bournemouth. To the relief of Reading fans, he gave the Cherries a miss.
A lot of that decision was to do with the fact that when I was out of work, that Reading did offer me an opportunity to come back into football, and I felt that it was wrong for me to leave it at that time, and I'm very glad I've stayed and pleased to be getting on with the job that I'm paid to do there.
Yes, Mark, join in, Mark.
When he's not at work, Colin can be found coaching. Heath End Wanderers under-13s have a knowledgeable parent on the touchline. Of course, he does his best to control his feelings, much to the relief of his son Mark.
My dad used to take me to play for my team on a Sunday, and my football skill as such developed through this type of football, and basically that's what I'm trying to do for him. If he makes it, great. If he doesn't, then so what? He's enjoyed it, and that's what it's all about, really.
The impact of Lee's influence can be seen each and every week in Reading's controlled passing style, and his presence is most certainly appreciated by the boss.
He's an outstanding coach, and he's an outstanding understanding of the game. So, for us to have someone like that here at Reading Football Club is brilliant, and I think I can't underestimate his contribution.
We set about 3 years ago trying to develop the style of football that we believe in, and I think that it's been proven over the 3 years that the team has not only produced good football but have got the results, and also by doing that the crowds have come through, and they've improved from about 3,000 when we took over up to about, we're averaging about 8,000 or 9,000 now, so it speaks for itself.
The season's early successes were based on a mean defence, breached only once in the opening 7 games. The last man, Neil Shaka Hislop.
Shaka's my middle name. My parents thought it would be best if, I was given an African name as well. So, Neil, as I say, my first name, and Shaka second, and I've just always gone by my second name.
Do you know what it means?
Yes, well, I'm named after the Zulu king, Shaka Zulu, and that's about all I know about it, really.
King of the defence this year.
Well, let's hope so.
Thompson's cross, right, no! Oh, what a save then by Hislop.
Saves like that one in the final minute at Charlton earned Reading the spoils on more than one occasion.
How can he finish here? Stimpson, great save by Hislop. Marvellous stop by the Reading keeper.
Hislop was recommended to Reading after being spotted in the United States. The ability and agility displayed in the handful of games he played in the 92-93 campaign set him up for Reading's championship-winning year. He played every match as Reading won the second division, and this season his value is soaring.
You know, I came into the league very inexperienced, and I think I'm becoming a better goalkeeper with each game. The experience is doing me the world of good, and as I say, with each game I'm growing a bit, learning a bit more, and that's making me a better goalkeeper.
There are a lot of tall goalkeepers, but Xhaka's arms are unbelievably long and his hands are unbelievably big. So he's got tremendous reach, and he's tremendously intimidating for anyone who's about to have a shot at goal to see someone of that size standing there.
Xhaka graduated from university in the States with a degree in mechanical engineering. Now he's studying the art of goalkeeping. His tutor, one of the best. Once a week, Peter Bonetti coaches Xhaka. There's no doubt the former Chelsea keeper has played a key role in Hislop's development.
I think he's got great potential to go the whole way. I mean, he's got everything going for him: size, attitude. He's got great agility for a big lad, and his height is incredible how he gets his high balls. And we just work on all aspects: his agility, his sharpness, his timing, and all aspects. People seem to think a goalkeeper goes into goal and faces shots all his training session and just faces crosses, but it's not. There's a lot more.
I think that given a couple of years at this level, there's absolutely no doubts in my mind that Xhaka can be among the top goalkeepers in the country. I think Xhaka can go on and either with us or with someone else play in the Premier League without any problem for a lot number of years.
Good strike too, and what a save by Hislop.
While Xhaka has been as solid as a rock at the back, for the steel in midfield, Royals followers need rarely look any further than Phil Parkinson. Those ball-winning challenges instantly recognisable. But he did appear in disguise this season. Parky wore a specially moulded, shatter-proof plastic mask to protect his injured face. And of course his colleagues couldn't resist the odd comment.
Well, I knew I'd take a lot of stick off the lads, but I was prepared to take that and get back playing rather than sit in the stand or whatever. So, the usual things: Phantom, Batman, a few other things. But I can take all that, I think.
That's great.
Well, I think the boys feel that he's probably better with it on than he is with it off, But he's Parky's a good player. He's a brave player, and regardless of the mask, I think he'd be willing to put his head in. But it obviously gives him that bit of protection.
Just as Parkinson suffered, so did Paul Holsgrove. His arrival cruelly interrupted by a broken leg against Bristol City.
His application in the pre-season training, both in terms of his play and his running and his work, was second to none. He was up the front at everything. So we felt we had to give him a chance. We played him in pre-season games and he scored a great goal at Orient and showed a lot of promise. We decided to give him a contract, and once he got on the team there was no stopping him.
Holsgrove was just establishing himself in the team when Reading arrived at Boundary Park, Oldham. It was the beginning of a three-match period when the Royals would be tested against the three sides relegated from the Premiership last season. A test Reading passed with flying colours.
I think it'd be fair to say that Reading do have the height advantage in these situations, and they make the most of it. Goal for Stuart Lovell. The big men came forward, the flick at the near post from Holsgrove, and Lovell was right on hand to punish Oldham for sloppy defending. Reading more intent on keeping possession, and they're saved by the goalkeeper. Or are they? Yes, they are. Twice by Hislop. Can he save it a third time? Richardson! Great goal! Well, Reading come here with a reputation for being one of the best defences in the Football League. But you'd have thought they were one of the worst in that situation. Gave the ball away once, gave the ball away twice. And Richardson with a very superbly judged chip over the keeper to equalise. Now Reading are settling into the second half. Mistake by Jobson. Oh, and an interesting goal, to say the least. Did he mean it? Or did he not? But that was ingenious from Simon Osborne. Richard Jobson won't have done his prospects of getting away from Boundary Park any good with that mistake, and Osborne could elevate himself with that superb goal. Level for Reading. Has support, goes alone and finishes off Oldham Athletic. Well, he had players left, right and centre, but chose his trusty left boot, Stuart Lovell. And that's it for Oldham, 3-1. A mistake from Macon. Well, he's on for his hat-trick, is Lovell. I don't think he's going to pass to anybody. Eyes down, goes for goal, doesn't quite make it, maybe deserved it.
A memorable victory for the Royals. It lifted them to dizzy heights. Second in Division 1, the highest position in the club's history.
We could be in this division through good play or bad play or good luck or bad luck. We could be in this division for the next 10 years and never be second again, you know. And I think people shouldn't underestimate just what an achievement that was for the team, even be it after 10 or 12 games. I believe it will be second again, at least. But, you know, it shouldn't be underestimated what a good achievement that was.
The following midweek, Reading were narrowly beaten at Swindon. Substitute Keith Scott grabbed the only goal. But McGee's men made it 2 wins from 3 starts against the relegated sides when Sheffield United became the next fall guys at Elm Park. Breathtaking saves from Xhaka were becoming routine. Jimmy Quinn was the day's goal-scoring hero. A bright moment for the striker, who endured a tough start to the season as he was suffering with sciatica.
The team wouldn't be where it is now without Jimmy Quinn's goals. There's no doubt about that. Regardless of everything else, had Jimmy Quinn not scored his 40 goals, we wouldn't be here. You know, if we were here, it would be scraping through the playoffs or something like that. You know. So I think we've got to give Jimmy Quinn every bit of help and every bit of credit we can, because Jimmy Quinn has still got a lot of years ahead of him as far as I'm concerned, both for Reading and then probably beyond that. Jimmy Quinn is among the best finishers I have ever seen.
There was a time when Jimmy Quinn was the only Reading player anticipating news of international selections. He was joined this season by Adrian Williams. Born in Reading and living in Bracknell perhaps, but his dad's side of the family are as Welsh as the Rhondda. So now the Reading skipper is establishing himself in the Wales team alongside Rush, Hughes and Giggs.
The highlight really is just being with the lads, you know, the likes of Ian Rush, Giggs, Southall, you know, quality players, best players in the world really, and the legends. So it's nice to be involved with them on the training pitch as well. Just watching the likes of Giggs train, you know, is frightening sometimes. And you know, you think, you know, you just look at it and think, I wonder what I would do if I was playing against him. And I don't know.
Worked it out?
Oh, I think I've worked it out. I'd kick him in the first minute and be sent off, take the punishment.
When Williams put an end to the summer's soap opera by re-signing, Mark McGee pointed out that, in effect, Reading had signed a £1 million player, the first to graduate through the youth ranks all the way to international football while still at Reading and still aiming for the top.
I want to play Premier League football. I mean, it's the biggest stage, and you know, it would be lovely if I could do it with Reading. So hopefully that would be like a fairy tale ending.
Adrian has become an outstanding player. He's matured into, and is still maturing. He still has a way to go, both as a player and as an individual. But he's matured quite a bit into a guy who can now be our team captain. He certainly leads by example.
With Darius beside him, I think that's helped him a lot as well. You know, I think that he knows now that he's got a guy beside him who's got a left foot, so we've got the right balance. You know, Darius again is very comfortable on the ball, and it's like in any football club really that players learn from other players. You know, they see good players playing and they want to be like them. And Darius is an international player. Adrian is now just got into the international scene, and I'm sure that he'll stay there for a long time and become a very, very good centre-half.
Williams was another player to suffer an autumn injury, but missing the Welsh humiliation in Georgia may eventually prove to be a blessing of international proportions. Overall, it's been a good year for AD, with 2 notable and deserved rewards.
This one was the first one I got. This was the PFA like division awards, you know, voted by fellow professionals. So I was fortunate to get in there, along with Dylan Kerr and Jimmy Quinn. So that was nice to receive that. And this is what it's all about, really. This one is my favourite one, obviously. This is a championship medal. So it was nice to receive one of those. A lot of players, you know, could be playing 15, 20 years without, you know, picking up one of these. So that takes pride and joy in the trophy cabinet, definitely.
Williams was at the heart of the defence for the home game with Derby in the Coca-Cola Cup, generally recognised by the Elm Park crowds as one of the outstanding Reading performances of recent years.
Reading do play this intoxicating brand of football which their fans just love. Osborne. Taylor did well to handle the ball. Oh, that's a back pass. Quinn, he scored. Oh, what an error by Derby County. One or two of the players are scratching their head. And Jimmy Quinn, who scored his first league goal on Saturday, scores again in the Coca-Cola Cup. Oh, that was an awful ball directed straight to Jimmy Quinn, and Derby were the authors of their own misfortune. Gilks. Dylan Kerr has arrived on the overlap. Oh, cleverly done by Gilks. Now, can he finish the move? Oh, it would have been a picture-book goal had it gone in from Michael Gilks. Probably enjoying the best spell of his 10-year career. And after turning the defender, this was a smart, low drive. Osborne with the cross. This is Gilks. He's tempted to have a shot. And the wet and skidding ball proved a problem to Martin Taylor in Derby County's goal. Looks like Derby County are going to end the first half on the offensive. That's hardly been the story of the first half. Carsley, Gabbiadini, still Gabbiadini, and they have the equaliser in injury time at the end of the first half. Now here's an opportunity. Quinn, it's 2-1. What a splendidly struck goal by Paul Holsgrove. Six minutes into the second half, Reading are in front again. Well, they say that Jimmy Quinn can head the ball better than most players can pass the ball, and this is a good example, steering the ball into the path of Paul Holsgrove, who makes it 2-1. Gilks, he's pinched the ball now for Reading. Scoot to the back post, Quinn arriving! It's 3-1. It's his second goal of the game. Well, full marks here to Michael Gilks, whose determination to win the ball won Reading a goal. Holsgrove. Quinn steers it down once again towards Gooding. He's round 3 or 4 challenges and forces a very good save from Martin Taylor. Gilks tries to get away from Harks. He's round Williams. He's round Charles. Now it's going to be a goal kick or a corner kick. The fans, not too surprisingly, wanted the corner. But Derby County have had a real problem coping with the speed and pace of Michael Gilks.
Since the start of the season, he's been playing absolutely brilliant, and you know, the gaffer always knew that he could play that well, and it's shown tonight. You know, it was a ball at nothing. He's shut the full back down. He's come out with the ball, and he's knocked the ball in really that my granny could have put in. You know, obviously I was in the right position, mate, but a great ball, and he's had a brilliant game.
Hopkins in for Holsgrove. Now Quinn. Neatly on for Osborne. Here's Jokes from Musgrove's pass. Jokes with the cross, and it's a goal from Lovell.
Reading's victory over Notts County came at a cost. Stuart Lovell had already scored his 6th goal of the season when he set up Uwe Hartenberger for the second.
It's a great chance for him. It's 2-0.
Uwe was celebrating his first goal of the season with some style. But instead of celebrating another Elm Park victory, Stuart Lovell's afternoon ended in agony. Archie, as he's known, was carried off on a stretcher. He'd torn his hamstring.
It's the classic sprinters. That's a bit of a laugh, actually, isn't it? Sprinters, but it's the classic injury for I suppose Linford Christie or someone like that. Fairly common for them to tear a hamstring. And I have to confess, I was hoping to be fit a little bit quicker than has proved.
It was just the knock Reading didn't need and followed a 17-minute stoppage because of the pipe in the pocket incident. The stand had been cleared when someone detected smoke. A fan had a pipe burning in his pocket. No one was hurt except Archie. The stoppage played its part.
In my opinion, it was the main reason. I mean, there were contributing factors, being the fact that we'd played Derby in the League Cup, and the fact that really I was quite tired from the previous game had made a big difference. But the simple fact was, when we stopped the game for 17 minutes, you just don't have a chance to keep your legs warm, and that finished me off, I'm afraid.
After the agony, more agony. Archie was to spend hours in the gym with physio Paul Turner on the long road to recovery. The goal scoring put on hold for a few weeks. Another new face to Elm Park this season is Andy Bernal, an Aussie who played youth football in Spain, had a season but never made the breakthrough at Ipswich, now gearing up to the full speed of the English game.
When I came over, I'd only been playing part-time football for the past 5 years, so obviously it's a little bit of a shock, but you know, the more you sort of get involved with the training and so on, then you know, the more used to it, and you know, you adapt a lot quicker.
Elm Park in the driving rain, hardly home from home.
I live about 500 metres from the beach, and you know, you go down for a surf and the sun's out all the time, which is a little bit different to this. So it's a bit of a cultural shock as well, but you know, this is where the good football is. So if you want to play it at the highest levels, you know, you've got to come over to Europe and put up with this sort of weather.
And how much football did you play down there?
How much football?
Yeah.
The season only goes for 6 months, so you play 6 months, and then you know, the other 6 you hang out at the beach and you know, go for a surf and stuff. So you know, it's really different, but you know, I'm enjoying it in a certain way.
You didn't bring your surfboard over?
No, but I could ship it over if someone could let me know where there's a decent beach with decent waves.
So just for Andy, a few memories from home. Well, Bernal was in the right fullback berth for Reading's match at Charlton. It was Happy Valley for the Royals.
Shot driven through, and a goal from Osborne. Oh, magnificent strike. Well, it's his 4th goal this season, and they've all come from long range. Just 5 minutes gone, and that's an absolute gem of a goal. Pedersen flinging himself across the goal, but he couldn't reach that one. Such was the venom on the shot. Here's Gilks. And the keeper fisting it away, not very effectively. And, just wide of goal. He is clearly very much to the fore today. Mark McGee. Alongside him there, Colin Lee. What a start for his team. Walsh again. Good movement from Grant. Kerr got with him. Capel to hold it up there. This is Robson. Fine save by Hislop. Good reaction save then by the keeper, who narrowed the angle as Robson fired it in. Walsh with the corner. There's the header, and it's goal for Emma Robson. Well, maybe Reading were distracted by those big defenders around them. It was the relatively tiny figure of Mark Robson who had a free header. Walsh with a corner kick. And the marking was very slack then on Robson, whose accurate header flew past Hislop. 11 minutes into the second half, and Charlton have pulled it back. Charlton playing with so much more zest now. This is Gilks through the middle, and Gilks away from Chapel and from the keeper. And it's there. Well, for a moment then I thought maybe he delayed too long, but no, Michael Gilks has restored Reading's lead. Just 4 minutes after Charlton's equaliser, and they've been caught by the stunning pace of Michael Gilks. Holsgrove who threaded it through them. A mistake by Chapel. Gilks round the keeper. And he managed to steer it in.
Michael Gilks with the winning goal at the Valley. Reading's longest serving player, playing better than ever.
At the top of his form is world class. And that isn't ridiculous to say that. He is world class at the top of his form. I've played with world-class players and they can't do any better than Michael Gilks can do when he is playing at his best.
After Charlton, Gilks saw off Bristol City.
Well, every goal's memorable nowadays for me, but yeah, it's been good to get back to scoring again, and hopefully I can continue, you know.
Well, he's not just scoring them, he's making them too. For Scott Taylor at Derby, where after Reading's Coca-Cola Cup exit, the victory which secured 3 league points was sweet indeed. The winner, a really superb finish from Gilks.
Better than any other time since I've been at Reading. He's been consistent in his contribution, both in terms of his work rate and the quality of the service that he's been giving the strikers. His contribution really has been brilliant.
The catalogue of injuries which hit Elm Park could have lifted the Royals into a scene in casualty. It certainly ensured that every member of Mark McGee's squad was kept on his toes and ready for whatever duty the team effort demanded. For Mick Gooding, the added responsibility of skipper fell his way at Derby. The 35-year-old is still running himself into the ground for Reading's cause.
Well, Mick Gooding is fit. Mick Gooding has got to be among the first to go down in the sheet, regardless of the position he plays. The man is, you know, is outstanding individual in terms of his contribution to the team effort and his commitment to Reading Football Club. You watch him in training, you watch him in games, and he never gives anything less than 100%. And add to that the fact that I believe that this season he's a better player than he was last season. He's playing better in the first division he did in the second division, which is hard to believe, but it is the truth.
Another selfless contributor to Reading's cause showed the strikers the route to goal in his first start of the season. A rare goal for Jeff Hopkins in the Cup at Gillingham.
I've got to admit that there have been times when I have doubted whether Jeff, you know, at this level, at the top of the first division, would have been up to it. But, you know, the guy has proven me wrong any doubts I've ever had at every turn. He's an outstanding professional, he's an outstanding man, you know, in terms of his attitude towards the young players. He's a family man and sets a great example to the young players. He's just someone that we really are grateful to have in the squad.
Only 11 can play, but there are plenty thirsting for the opportunity to impress. Of course, the fans have their own favourites, including the man born in Malta.
But I'm enjoying it like I did last year, and I'll enjoy it this year, and next year when we're in Premier League, I'll still enjoy it then.
And relax. Lay over on your
At the start of the season, it looked as though the entire playing staff was about to be upstaged. Daley Thompson spent pre-season with the Royals. He even scored a goal at Leatherhead.
Daley's still a good friend to the club, to me and to Colin and to the players. He's still a keen Reading supporter, regardless of who he's playing for or what he's doing now. But it was good to have Daley around. He brought a bit of light relief to the hard pre-season training without undermining anything that we were trying to do, and that was important, and I think he was a very, very popular guy at that time of the year.
Well, in his day, Daley was used to playing to big crowds, and this season the numbers flocking to see the Royals has increased, a testimony to the success of Mark McGee's side and the attractive football they play.
Two things strike me about the support. The away support, first of all, how vocal they are, how animated and how supportive they are of the team away from home, regardless of the result and regardless of the weather and regardless of the distance they seem to have to travel. It's really great. I mean, the boys do appreciate it, we appreciate it, I know the chairman appreciates it, because it does give you a big boost to see that bit of your own colour in one section of the ground is really a lift for the lads, and it gives you a sort of something, again, I talk about focusing on something, it gives you something to strive for, because you're representing them, you feel as if, you know, you're doing it for that bunch that are there. As far as the home support goes, we all know that the home support aren't quite as vocal as a lot of supports, but the one thing they have been, and it's been very, very important to us, is they're patient. They've understood the type of football we wanted to play. They've come to appreciate what it takes to play the sort of football we play, and that we're not always going to score in the first minute, and we're not going to go rampaging after goals in the first 5 minutes. And that has been an important part in allowing us to play the football we play, the crowd's patience, and of course the numbers that are turning up, we do appreciate it.
The travelling fans among the 5,500 crowd at Southend in November saw Reading endure one of those days. Against a Reading team missing 6 first-team players, Southend took the lead with a dubious penalty. Ricky Otto's centre hit Jeff Hopkins on the arm. The Reading defender pointed out it wasn't deliberate. But the penalty was awarded and Graham Bressington beat Shaka Hislop. Perhaps the most encouraging aspect of the trip to Essex was the reappearance of Jimmy Quinn. The Northern Ireland marksman had been out for a month with sciatica. He returned with a vintage goal, nutmegging one of his teammates in the process.
Taking over, it's kicked by Barnard, it's Quinn with the shot! Oh, fabulous goal by Jimmy Quinn. And he has marked his return to the Reading side in the most positive fashion. Well, that was the Quinn of old then. One glance at goal after the miss kicked in, totally from Barnard. Maybe that threw the Southend defenders, but it arrowed into the corner then from the boot of Jimmy Quinn. It's only his second goal in the league this season. A quarter of an hour gone and it's 1-1. Spectacular goal from Jimmy Quinn. His 6th overall this season. So So pleased to be back in the side today with his, hopefully, his sciatica problem behind him.
In the second half, a shot from Gary Jones squeezed in at the near post to make it 2-1 for Southend. Nine minutes later, from Andy Thompson's pass, Jones made it 3-1. But Reading had no luck. From Simon Osborne's perfectly floated centre, Quinn again had the ball in the net. To his disbelief, the linesman ruled offside. The television replay suggests Quinn was level with the last defender when Osborne delivered the centre. And then, in the final minute to round off Reading's misery, the home side broke away, and from Jones' ball in, Thompson made the scoreline 4-1. Flattering indeed to Southend. The trip to Essex wasn't a day the Royals faithful will remember, but it was just a blip in a year full of wonderful memories. A year when Reading rose from Division 2 to Division 1 as outstanding champions. And a year when Mark McGee's team made a dramatic impact on Division 1. Much has been achieved in '94. Now the club is setting new targets.
Well, I think we've got two major things, really. First of all, we've got to obviously strengthen the squad, as we are doing, and improve what we're doing already. And what we're doing already is very fine indeed. I don't think there's anybody to match us in the First Division, so there's no reason why we shouldn't go straight into the Premiership. But that obviously brings along some added problems for us, and of course what I'm talking about is Elm Park. And you know, it's no secret, but we are doing everything in our power to sort out a new stadium for the Royals. And just as soon as we have some concrete information on this, then we'll obviously let everybody know. But that is probably our biggest thing that we have to do, is to look at relocation, because quite clearly, you know, we need bigger gates. They're coming through now, which is absolutely marvellous, and we're just going to have to relocate to a new ground. So I would imagine that probably is our biggest goal now, is to relocate.